This here is Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic issue number 49. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, this issue took more than a month to be delivered to me in the UK. So, we begin with the Tigazord in space carrying Billy, Jason, Kimberly and the designated driver Tommy. Once again we have a Zord in space acting like a space vessel. The Rangers then teleport down to Safehaven. Billy teleports them in without anyone seeing them. Jason needs to find Archon, as he's a respected elder and could guide everyone to the old city centre, so the Rangers can teleport them up to the Tigazord. But as they make their journey, there actually is someone watching them. The Rangers eventually find Archon, who is pleased to see Jason. He tells Archon to assemble everyone who wants to leave Safehaven. As he goes to round up the people, Billy and Kimberly see Reagan, the child that was watching them, enter this place. Reagan tells Kiya the Rangers are here, and so Kiya swoops in on the Rangers. They realise their stealth approach failed, prompting Tommy to say they need to learn to become ninjas. Of course, that is exactly what happens in season 3 of the TV show and the movie. Kiya tells the Rangers that she wants to talk. She wants peace. Jason says that's fine, but he must be allowed to take Archon and the others away. Kiya says that's fine because they're not her prisoners. The Rangers aren't her prisoners either. She just hates Drakon/Tommy's actions from Shattered Grid. Kiya knows this Tommy is not the same Drakon from before, but believes it's only a matter of time until he is. When Kiya tells Tommy she can't allow the chance of another Drakon, Kimberly steps in to tell her to look in the mirror because Kiya is acting just like Drakon. Kiya says playing the role of the monster is fine with her, if it means protecting the universe from the Rangers' mistakes. And then, the rest of the Omega and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers arrive. Trini doesn't seem happy to see Kiya. She also tells Billy that the Ranger Slayer found them thanks to Billy's call to grace. Billy then wonders who the Ranger Slayer is, but before Trini can explain, both Jason and Tommy shout, "It's Morphin time!" And so both teams morph into action, and the Omega Rangers morph really steal the show on this 2-page spread. Jason in particular, as he is quite literally on fire. With the Rangers ready for battle, Kiya calls Dane and Garrison in. Garrison is in control of Kiya's Zord, while Dane is on the ground. Jason calls for the other Omega Zords to take on Garrison, leaving the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to take on Dane on the ground. Tommy is now better placed mentally to fight. He knows he is unable to defeat Dane even with his stronger powers, but with the Rangers' help, they can defeat Dane together. The Rangers begin to assemble the Power Blaster as Tommy distracts Dane, but at the critical moment, Rocky is unable to add his Power Sword to the mix as Rocky is covered in Dane's black goo. And Tommy's heroics fall short again as Dane just knocks him to the ground. Just when you thought Tommy would actually get something done, that happens. On to Ranger Slayer Kimberly and C now. They need to make their way on foot to that gate thingy, as Kimberly calls it. Unfortunately, as we already know from the previous issue, Kiya has discovered the entrance to the Master Arch. She now has robots like C guarding it. They're not much of an obstacle though, as Kimberly and C blitz through them without any trouble at all. C then proceeds to activate the arch. It will send Kimberly somewhere. C is not 100% sure that she'll end up in the right place because of all the variables, but she steps in through the arch anyway, and Kimberly vanishes, hopefully ending up in the right dimension. We then go back to the action and see Garrison in Kiya's Zord against the other Omega Zords. Garrison says to the Rangers he thought they were supposed to fight with honor, but Jason says they'll make an exception for him, as it's now 3 versus 1. Even though Zack lands a few hits on Garrison, he comes back and lands an uppercut on Zack. Trini then goes into cover for Zack and manages to pin Garrison down. He just laughs as everything is going according to plan. He informs Kiya that the Omega Zords are in position. Kiya then gets the Anointed to swarm in and attack Zack's Zord. All of them attacking at once cause an overload to Zack's Zord, and it loses one of its legs, bringing the Zord down to the ground. Even with a massive Zord at his disposal, the sheer number of the empowered was enough to defeat Zack. The Anointed then go after Trini's Zord, so Jason tells her to take off and get out of range. Both Zords prepare to fly off, but Trini is unable to escape as Garrison's Zord catches hold of Trini's and brings it to the ground. Then, he seemingly pierces through Trini's Omega Zord as he swings down like a hammer to mimic Trini's movements. Things seem bad for the Omega Rangers as Zack and Trini fail to respond to Jason's calls. And that brings us to the end of this issue. After a long absence, it was good to finally read this issue as it is taking us towards the end of this necessary evil arc. From the beginning, I liked how there is now a sense of unity. The Omega Rangers and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are now working together. Any grudges that they had because of the Omega's secrecy are now gone. As there are 2 Ranger teams in action, it was good that Jason led his team and Tommy led his team. It wasn't a case of one leader leading a larger group of Rangers. Honestly, I can't really think of many more positives to say. This issue wasn't bad at all because it contained loads of action. It's just that both teams get really beaten in this, so it ends on a low rather than a high. One thing I will say though, is that we saw the Ranger Slayer step through the portal at the Master Arch. I'm looking forward to seeing what the world looks like wherever she ends up, and whether she will make it back alive.